We're playing Stock Up Storm. It looks like the Riddler combo, but it's way sweeter. It plays Artist Talent from Bloomburrow and Stock Up from Aetherdrift. Let's go check it out. This video is proudly sponsored by Card Market. Welcome to Stock Up Storm. This is a sweet one. If you're unfamiliar with Stock Up, it's a brand new card from Aetherdrift. For 2 and a blue, you look at the top 5 cards of your library, put 2 of them to your hand, the rest on the bottom in any order. This card is incredibly powerful in Vintage with things like the Moxen and then, other powerful artifacts like Soul Ring that tap for 2. Well, in Legacy, we have other things that tap for 2. Primarily Ancient Tomb as a way to fuel your stock up. We like that quite a bit. But we also have our own Moxen like Chrome Mox and Mox Opal that accelerate into stock up. We like that. So today, we're playing this powerful card that can dig for either Lion's Eye Diamond or Echo of Aeons as the key combination of this deck that allow you to create Storm to eventually play Grape Shot. That is how the deck functions, but we also have a sweet backup plan of Urza Saga Beatdown featuring a bunch of artifacts. Most Storm decks that play Urza Saga feature that, but I think what's really sweet about today's deck list is the card Artist Talent. If you look at older builds of the Riddler, and I don't think that this is actually the Riddler deck anymore, it's its own unique thing, it played Riddlesmith so that way you could trigger the Riddlesmith to discard cards and draw cards and that sort of thing. And we don't have to play that anymore. So you would play Containment Construct, so that way it was always just positive, but it was this sort of cute combo with 2 creatures that was very fragile. You didn't like losing to Lightning Bolt, or even worse, Orcish Bowmasters. Well, with Artist Talent, Lightning Bolt doesn't really matter, and Orcish Bowmasters does deal you damage when you draw cards, but it doesn't shut down your Storm engine. We'll take that. And the other modes of this are actually pretty sweet. So for 2 and a red, all of your spells cost 1 less, 1 generic less. Okay, so that means things like Pirate Spellbomb are now free, or other copies of Artist Talent or Defense Grid cost 1. We like that. It also reduces the cost of stock up. Okay, if you checked out my Pioneer video from last week, which you can find in the card above, I talked about how stock up alongside the Artist Talent is really beneficial because it reduces the cost, and then only costing 1 blue eventually is such a huge benefit. That also applies here. Well, the third mode on Artist Talent also applies. So you can level up Artist Talent again for 2 in a red, and then all of a sudden your Grape Shots deal 3 damage. We like that quite a bit because now you need less Storm in order to win. This is really, really powerful. On top of that, it turns Pirate Spellbomb into a backup win condition. You might not be following with me, but let me explain. So the idea is that you'll play Artist Talent, you'll level it up. You might even play another one. Okay, so let's say you've leveled up 2 Artist Talents, and then you have your Pirate Spellbomb. Each Pirate Spellbomb will now deal 5, but you only play the 1. If you have double Artist Talent going, there's a good chance that you can loop your library multiple times with Echo of Aeons, just hard casting them and then redrawing and eventually just looping and looping and looping, and Pirate Spellbomb ends up being a backup win condition, which is ultra sweet, while answering Orcish Bowmasters. You could be playing Aether Spellbomb in your deck, which I think is completely reasonable, but the downside of Aether Spellbomb is it bounces Orcish Bowmasters, and then they could just replay it again because it has Flash. Pirate Spellbomb doesn't do that and doubles as a backup win condition. So I think it's a better choice for this deck. Outside of that, you still have the Gamble Echo of Aeon synergy. You have Rite of Flame for acceleration. If you caught my last Riddler video, which you can also find in the card above, I talked about how the deck was extremely mana hungry and it needed more mana. So today I am playing Rite of Flame alongside these other broken cards. I think that covers pretty much the main deck. In the sideboard, I have Into the Floodmaw over Chain of Vapor. Some of you might be wondering why. If you look at other cards in the sideboard, we have Leyline of Anticipation and Leyline of the Void, not to mention the main deck copies of Defense Grid or Artist Talent. If you play Chain of Vapor, you don't want your opponent sacrificing a land and then bouncing up Artist Talent that you've invested mana into. If you're going to put 5 mana into a card, you don't want your opponent to just sacrifice a land and copy it. So we're playing Into the Floodmaw instead, and it comes in versus Oops All spells. So you have Leyline of the Void that also comes in there. If you have to bounce their Leyline, you don't want them then in return bouncing yours. So Into the Floodmaw just makes way more sense than Chain of Vapor. Ley Line of Anticipation is really for prison decks and other matchups where you just want to go fast and win in response to their hate. That is the idea here. Mindbreak Trap, explosive combo decks, Haywire Might, and Surge Node Prison. Surge Node can add a counter to Chalice of the Void to make it no longer relevant, and, you know, we like that. And Haywire Might just removes it from the table. So you have some targets for Urza's Saga. You have some powerful sideboard cards. That is the idea. This is Stock Up Storm. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, like, comment, subscribe. I'm thrilled to play this for you today. It's super sweet. And, you know, I'll see you in the first round. I don't have anything else to say. I just want to cast sweet spells. See you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to the first match. We are on the play with Stock Up Storm. Okay, so I have a very good hand. We will keep this. I can Rite of Flame into Artist Talent, and then play Lotus Petal, discard the Echo, and then gamble for a Lion's Eye Diamond. Holy moly, this is good. I guess the one downside is if our opponent is playing Force of Will. Our opponent has kept 7. I will play the Volcanic Island and Rite of Flame, my old friend. If you're interested, I do have a Japanese foil set of Rite of Flames over at theepicstorm.com right now that are for sale. Actually, it's my 3rd set. I bought a friend's collection and they were in there. So if you're interested in Japanese foil Rite of Flames, go grab them. All right, so I will now play Gamble. We have a 66% chance of success here. I will get rid of the Mishra's Bauble. I think I'd like to keep the other Gamble in case this one fails. Urza's Saga. We'll go grab the Lion's Eye Diamond. Ooh, we failed. Okay. Pass the turn. I can always try again next turn. Savannah into Birds of Paradise. Okay. We will try Gamble again. I guess something I could have done that I just realized is I could have played Saga and then just played Chrome Mox and flashback the Echo. I guess that's something I could potentially do next turn. I'll get rid of the Chrome Mox, I think. Ancient Tomb. We'll select the Lion's Eye Diamond. We win the flip this time. I will play the Ancient Tomb. Play the Mox, or I'm sorry, play the Lion's Eye Diamond. Add 3 blue. And we will flashback Echo of Aeons. 2 blue mana floating. Ooh, stock up. Let's play Lotus Petal. Discard Pyrite Spellbomb. Play Mox Opal. Discard Urza Saga. Lion's Eye Diamond, don't mind if I do. Let's play that. Artist Talent is so good. Yeah, we have a Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll make a blue. Actually, we'll make a red. We'll play Mox Opal. Discard Mishra's Bauble. I can level up the Artist Talent here. Before I do, I think I'm going to play this Rite of Flame. I'll discard Mishra's Bauble. And we hit another Echo. That's so good. We'll level up Artist Talent. And now I will play Stock Up for 2 mana. Discard the Echo. We had a Chrome Mox. I'll take Defense Grid and Lion's Eye Diamond. And now we can play Defense Grid for a single mana here. Play Defense Grid. Discard Chrome Mox. Oh my, we hit 2 more LEDs. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Now this is magic right here. This is everything I've wanted to do this league. We'll add 3 blue, 3 red, and we'll make 3 more red. And I think I'm going to level up the Artist Talent. I guess I don't need to level it up right now. I can look at my hand and then make a decision. All right, we'll flashback Echo of Aeons. Storm is 13. So I could gamble for Grape Shot right now, but I think I'm going to wait. Let's play Stock Up. I'll discard Echo of Aeons. We find another Echo. I would like 2 Rite of Flames. We'll play another Rite of Flame. Discard a land. We find another Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll play another Rite of Flame. Discard the Urza Saga. Play Lotus Petal. Discard Chrome Mox. I guess I'm just making it harder to win because I'm slightly going down on cards each time. All right, I don't want to discard the Lion's Eye Diamond, so I'll play that out and then I'll gamble for Grape Shot. Discard Urza Saga. 39 cards left in deck. We'll play the gamble. 75 chance of success here. We find the Pyrite Spellbomb, and we'll grab Grape Shot. We discard the Grape Shot. Rest in peace. All right, so I will play Mox Opal. And our opponent just had enough. Okay, sure. I will take it. Yeah. We would have gotten there eventually. I have no idea what they're playing. I'm guessing it's Nadu combo, but I could be wrong. I think we probably want some number of Into the Flood Maw. And maybe a Haywire Might because of Deafening Silence. And I think I'll just board out like Urza's Bauble. They're probably the worst card in the deck. Let's try this. I am very glad that I got to do the thing in the first game because that was sweet. Even with discarding the Lion's Eye Diamond to gamble, that game was just so easy. Like, that's the only way I can describe it, is it was easy. You might be saying, why not board out Defense Grid if I think that my opponent's on Nadu? Well, I don't know if they're playing blue. That's a big thing. But on top of that, we're a deck that's based around an enchantment right now, which is Artist Talent. And, you know, you still have Urza Saga and stuff. Defense Grid protects you from Force of Vigor if you sequence first with the Defense Grid. It's just an option. And here we have that exact sequence. I have Ancient Tomb into Artist Talent, but I'm short of red mana. I think I'm going to try this. I know that it seems a little crazy, but we're on the draw. I have a few draw steps to hit red mana. Once upon a time, they reveal Nadu. Yep. They play Verdant Catacombs into Savannah. Deafening Silence. I did bring in 4 answers to that. We draw Rite of Flame. I'm going to just play Defense Grid. Pass the turn. I cannot play the Mishra's Bauble, if you were wondering. There's a Deafening Silence still on the battlefield. I hope that you kept a hand that does nothing with Deafening Silence Savannah, because then I can beat you down with an Urza Saga. 2 mana here. Green Sun Zenith for 1. So they could get a Birds of Paradise that would allow them to play Nadu next turn, or Noble Hierarch is very similar. Sure. We found our red mana, but I think we need to... I mean, I could just go grab... I could go get Into the Flood Maw with the gamble. My fear is that I don't have the resources to do anything else. So for now, I'm going to just play the Urza Saga and the Mishra's Bauble. I'll look at their top card. Natural Order. That's not good for me. Okay. Another gamble. 3 mana for a Nadu. Sure. Urza Saga goes to the next chapter. We'll play the Volcanic. I wonder if it's crazy here to gamble for Haywire Might, because the next turn I could get a green source off of the Saga and then play Lion's Eye Diamond, gamble for Echo of Aeons. There's also a chance I'm just dead, but I'm going to take the play that could allow me to win. We'll select Haywire Might, gamble to the graveyard. I will play Haywire Might. Pass the turn. They have Nomads and Core, so they have the Nadu combo. And there's a good chance they win here. We already know that they have a Natural Order in hand. But by forcing them to go through this, I get to find out if they're actually playing blue. Nadu just keeps triggering. Consign to Memory. Okay. Deafening Silence. They have multiple copies of Deafening Silence. I would like to know if you're playing Force of Will, though. They play a Noble Hierarch. Nomads just keeps triggering. They've revealed Green Sun Zenith and Birds of Paradise. They play Nomads and Core. Another Gaia's Cradle. Birds of Paradise enters. They're not exactly the fastest at this, if I'm being honest, but it's their clock. They can use that however they want. And I understand that I'm down on time, but I was taking a lot more game actions. And I'm just trying to get information. Like, I've lost this game at this point. I just need to know if they're playing Force of Will. They play Green Sun Zenith for 1. For a Quirion Ranger. 8 mana for a Craterhoof Behemoth. So I'm going to die here. But I just don't know if they're playing blue. Like, I don't think they are. Like, we didn't see any blue lands. We did see a Consign to Memory. But, you know, I don't think that's necessarily a sign. So the question is, do we want all of the defense grids for game 3? Do we want 1 or 2? That's a question. It does protect you from Force of Vigor. So the question is like an Urza's Bauble better? It triggers your Artist Talent. It enables Mox Opal. I think I'm going to try 2 Urza's Bauble and then take out 2 Defense Grid. And we'll submit this. On the play for game 3. This hand parties, we will keep. Our opponent with a mulligan to 6. Now down to 5. I'm going to make a play that is not without risk on the first turn, I believe. I'm going to play Volcanic Island, play my Lion's Eye Diamond, and then gamble for another Lion's Eye Diamond. Why this is not without risk is if my opponent has Endurance in hand and if I discard the Echo, my hand is nothing. But the upside is I get to Echo with a bunch of mana. We discarded a Lotus Petal. That's fine. We'll play out our artifacts. I will add 3 blue and 3 red. We're going to spin that wheel. Floating 2 red and a blue. Storm is 6. We hit a stock up. Okay. Let's play Rite of Flame. And then I will stock up. Floating a red. And we just straight up missed. Whew. I think we take Haywire Might and Urza Saga. I will play Haywire Might. Play Mishra's Bauble. And I think I just want to get my artifacts in play for the Urza Saga. So we know that they're a Deafening Silence deck and they have Consigned to Memory. Let's just get our stuff in play. I'll keep the 2 Chrome Moxes. And then let's bobble them. Basic Forest. I will pass. In their upkeep, we'll draw off Mishra's Bauble, which was another stock up. That's good. They play Savannah and Deafening Silence. I will make a green with my Mox Opal and will exile it. And then I will Mishra's Bauble them. Their top card is a Nadu. We'll draw off the Bauble, draw off return. Whoo, that was good. Okay. Let's play Urza Saga. And then I will play Artist Talent. Play a Chrome Mox. We'll trigger the Artist Talent. The question is, do I want to discard the Echo? Once again, the fear is Endurance. Then making it so my graveyard doesn't work. They did F6 after the first Echo, so they have something, and I don't know if they're playing blue. So I'm guessing they might have an Endurance in hand. So I'll discard the Chrome Mox, and then I think I'm going to imprint a stock up. And now I could cast this other stock up, or I can just Echo with a bunch of mana floating. And I think I want to Echo with a bunch of available mana. So I will Echo of Aeons here. Storm is 3. That was good. We find our Haywire Might. Again, I like that. We'll play the Lotus Petal. Discard Ancient Tomb. We'll make red mana with the Opal. We'll play another Mox Opal. Discard Urza's Bauble. We hit another Echo. We'll play Petal. Discard Echo. Rite of Flame. We'll play the Rite of Flame. Discard Haywire Might. And now I'd like to level up my Artist Talent. We'll play Lion's Eye Diamond. Discard Ancient Tomb. And this seems like a great spot for the Defense Grid. We'll play Defense Grid. I am not going to discard the Echo. I just don't want to risk Endurance. Alright, Defense Grid resolved. We'll make 3 blue with the Lion's Eye Diamond. Echo of Aeons now costs 2 mana to flashback. That is nice. Storm 10. We find another Artist Talent. And the, hold on, we just have the win. So we can level up Artist Talent again into Grape Shot. I-O. Discard land. Let's level up the Artist Talent to the final chapter. And we get to do this in the first match too. I love Magic so much. Grape Shot you. So we'll target them. And each Grape Shot deals 3 damage. Oh, this is magic right here. This is beautiful. We got to do all the cool stuff in the first round. I'm sure there's going to be more cool stuff, but I don't know if it can get better than that. Hopefully it does. Stick around and find out. I will see you in match number 2. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, we're on the play. I don't know exactly what my opponent's playing today, but they tend to play a lot of Reanimator. Dimir Reanimator, at least that's what I remember. Here we have a hand where we have double bobble, but no payoff. So we could cycle the bobbles and hope to draw into something good. I just don't know if that's good enough. I believe we're supposed to mulligan. So this is turn 1 Artist Talent. And then potentially gamble for Echo. We'll keep. Put a gamble on the bottom. Play the Ancient Tomb. I'll take some damage. Ouch. We'll play Pyrite Spellbomb. Play Lotus Petal. Play Mox Opal. And Artist Talent. I will pass the turn. So I could gamble right now. The downside of gambling right now is that I would lose Metalcraft. And the next turn I couldn't flash back an Echo of Aeons. The upside is if my opponent plays a turn when Thoughtseize. Underground Sea, so they are on Dimir Reanimator today. The boogeyman of the format. Urza Saga, pretty good draw here. We'll play out the Urza Saga. The Pyrite Spellbomb would have been better against Dimir Reanimator, admittedly. As Aether Spellbomb, that is. I think I'm just going to level up my Artist Talent. Pass the turn. So if they don't have End Step and Tomb into Atraxa, I like my odds. And if they do, we probably lose. Uh-oh. Okay. Yep. They grab Gristlebrand. Interesting. Wasteland, so that can destroy my Saga. Yep. No Reanimate? Really? We find Echo of Aeons. Let's play Gamble. We'll auto-yield to this. Discard the Echo. And I think I'm supposed to get Defense Grid. So what's sweet about leveling up the Artist Talent is if I discard the Volcanic Island, I can play Defense Grid off Ancient Tomb for 1 mana, and then the Lotus Petal immediately flashes back the Echo. Come on, we have a 50-50. We need this in order to win. We missed our 50-50. Okay. We'll play Volcanic Island. We will flash back Echo of Aeons floating 1. Echo on the stack. They brainstorm in response. We need them to not have a Force of Will. Echo of Aeons. Oh, it actually resolved. I am truly surprised by that. We'll play Lotus Petal. Discard Urza Saga. We find another Echo. I do like that. We'll play Mox Opal. Discard the Echo. And now I'll play Gamble. We're going to try to grab another Defense Grid. Discard the Urza Saga. Grab Defense Grid. Defense Grid is a much better Magic card when it costs 1. We discarded Defense Grid again. Ay. We'll gamble. Discard Chrome Box. We hit another Echo. Grab Defense Grid. That's 3 Defense Grids to the graveyard this game. Come on. We'll play Chrome Box. Discard Echo. I did not hit an imprintable. I'll play Chrome Box again. I wanted something to imprint so that way I didn't lose the days. And I missed again. I guess I'll play out the Mishra's Bauble. It can't hurt. And then we'll attempt a flashback Echo of Aeons. Echo. That resolved. Okay. Feel like I'm getting a little lucky here. We'll discard Urza Saga. This definitely feels very powerful. I will say that. Let's play Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll discard Urza Saga. I'm sorry, discard the Urza's Bauble. I could have played another Artist Talent there, and maybe that was the right play, but I think Stock Up might be a better line. Discard the Ancient Tomb. We'll imprint the Artist Talent. I've used 2 Echo of Aeons so far. Let's play Stock Up. Discard Urza's Bauble. We find Echo and Lotus Petal. We'll take those. Play Lotus Petal. Discard the Echo of Aeons. We actually hit Defense Grid. Wow. Okay, so now I don't have to gamble for it and then lose a 4th gamble flip like a real loser. I suppose my storm count was high enough where I could have started thinking about gamble for Grape Shot too. We'll discard the Stock Up. And now I will make a red with the Rite of Flame. We'll make 3 blue. Flashback the Echo of Aeons, which will be Storm 20. Alright, so let's play Stock Up for 2 mana. I can discard Urza Saga. This truly feels broken. I'll grab Double Gamble. I need the Mox Opal for casting Grape Shot, so I will play that first. Keep Opal. And now we can gamble for Grape Shot. Discard Urza's Bauble. I will select Grape Shot. Let's Bobble you. They have a Polluted Delta. Play Grape Shot. This felt bananas. Holy moly. I think we want Leyline of the Void. And I don't believe Reanimator plays their own Leyline of the Voids. I think they play like Dothy Voidwalkers and things like that. We could bring it into the Floodmaw. Board out Urza's Baubles. Probably Mishra's Baubles too. And that leaves you with one free card. Maybe I'll bring in like one Mishra's Bauble again. Let's try this. So far, I am very, very impressed with this stock up deck. Both the card stock up and artist talent just way overperforming. Wow, what a hand! This is so good! Keep. We'll put Leyline of the Void in. So we have obviously Gamble for Echo of Aeons. Or I'm sorry, Gamble lines for Lion's Eye Diamond and then Echo of Aeons. But what I like about this hand is that we also have the pivot of Ancient Tomb Urza Saga in case they have a Dothy Voidwalker or an Orcish Bowmasters. Like, there's a lot to like about this hand. I'll play Urza Saga. I have to hope they don't have Wasteland. I guess that's the real thing here. They cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm. They play Underground Sea. We draw an artist talent. That's going to have to wait. I think we're on the construct plan right now. So the question is, do you grab a Lion's Eye Diamond? Or do you grab Pyrite Spellbomb that kills Dothy Voidwalker or Orcish Bowmasters? And they're just going to leave open 2 mana. We'll activate the Saga, make a construct, draw for turn, Rite of Flame. We'll make another construct. Saga triggers. I could also just grab Mox Opal, so that way I can cast the cards in my hand. Let's do that. Play Ancient Tomb. I'll go to 14. Let's play Stock Up. They Force of Will Stock Up. Okay, we'll attack for 4. Swing, batter, swing. End step, Brazen Borrower. Yep, that's exactly it. Goodbye to Leyline of the Void. I don't know why I had the gut feeling that they did, but the way that this entire game played out, I sort of felt like they had the Brazen Borrower. And now they have Entomb plus Reanimate. Oh my. They grab Atraxa and Reanimate, so they go to 8 life. They reveal Dothy Voidwalker and Wasteland. So they can destroy one of my Ancient Tombs here. What they did not reveal was a Force of Will. So there's a chance I could try to resolve Echo of Aeons. They play Underground Sea instead. Interesting. Into Ponder. So they might want to dig for a Force of Will. Let's see if they shuffle. They did shuffle. Into the Floodmaw. No way. No way. This is much better than Chain of Vapor here. I will say that. Bounce your Atraxa. And our opponent concedes the match. Yes. Everything is going our way so far. We are 2-0 in this Legacy League. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. For round number 3, we're on the play, and we're facing someone who typically plays Cloud Post strategies. We have Lotus Petal, Mox Opal, Urza's Bauble, and then Gamble for Lion's Eye Diamond. I think we keep this. Alternatively, I could just go Petal Gamble, and then have a greater success rate for keeping my diamond. That's probably the move. We'll play Gamble, Lion's Eye Diamond. We discard the Echo. So if they have like a main deck Endurance or something, we're in trouble. Urza's Saga, Urza's Bauble. We'll play Chrome Mox, Mox Opal, Lion's Eye Diamond. We will flash back Echo of Aeons. Boop. This hand is... Well, our opponent just decided they were done. This was not a good 7. But that doesn't matter because they're going to give us game 1. Sure. We definitely want Into the Floodmaw. Haywire Might. You could probably board down a couple copies of Defense Grid. I still want them for, Force of Vigor. They have the... I'm blanking on the name of it right now. The 2-mana artifact with Flash. Disruptor Flute. There we go. They have that. So you probably want some number of defense grid. You could, in theory, bring in Leyline of Anticipation. I don't know if that's good, but you could. I'll board out 2 Urza's Baubles and we'll try this. Interesting hand. So it's really like an Urza Saga beatdown hand. Am I crazy if I want to keep this? Let's give it a go. I like the fact that as Into the Floodmaw, if they potentially kept like a Leyline or something along those lines. But we'll see. Like, this might not work. Like, I'm willing to accept that. But I think the potential is here. They have Urza's Tower. The One Ring. Sure. They draw their card. Volcanic Island, not a bad draw. I still think that I am on the Urza Saga beatdown plan for now. They draw 2 cards with the One Ring. They play a Glimmer Post. Elvish Spirit Guide for a green. A kicked Sowing Myco Spawn. Well, that's a problem. We'll make a construct. So maybe this hand wasn't good because of that. And now they can grab a Wasteland. And they do. Echo of Aeon. So we would need to draw like a Gamble or Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll play the other Urza Saga past the turn. In hindsight, maybe I should have mulliganed. I liked the ability of this hand to play around a Mindbreak Trap or something like that, but maybe that's just like not what I should be doing. Another Wasteland. Karn the Great Creator. I'm good to pick this up. Alright, we can go to game 3. We will submit. On the play. So this is turn 1 stock up. If that's good enough, I'm not sure. We'll try it. Ancient Tomb. We'll play Lotus Petal. Mishra's Bauble. Play Mox Opal. And play stock up. Echo of Aeons and another stock up. We'll take those. Pass the turn. I purposely didn't use the Mishra's Bauble. I want the mana from my Mox Opal, so I did not use it. I didn't want to lose Metalcraft. We find another Echo, but what I need now is a Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll play stock up. I did not find Lion's Eye Diamond. I did find an Artist Talent. So, I'm just talking out loud here. I could go Rite of Flame Artist Talent, discard Echo. You know what? I think I'm going to pass the turn this turn. I'll take Rite of Flame Artist Talent, and then next turn we can make that play. They play Once Upon a Time, and they find Elvish Spirit Guide versus Tower. So they could have Spirit Guide, Crop Rotation, Bazooka Bog as something to be aware of. Lotus Petal. We'll play Rite of Flame, play the Artist Talent, play Rite of Flame. I'm going to discard Echo here and see if I can bait them. Because of the fact that I have double Echo, we could actually beat the Crop Rotation and do Bazooka Bog here. They have Fairy Macabre. Okay. We'll play Lotus Petal, discard Echo. You have another Graveyard Piece of Hate. They use the Spirit Guide, so they do have the Crop Rotation Bazooka Bog. And I'm going to have to pass the turn. So it's 2 Echo of Aeons down. I'll level up the Artist Talent. We'll use the Bauble now. They have a Cloud Post on top of their deck. I want to see my card, so I'm going to pass the turn. We'll draw a card. Next turn, I can try to play Lion's Eye Diamond into a spell that matters. They played Cloud Post. I would love a Gamble. Another stock up. Or we could just draw the best card in the deck, Echo of Aeons. Alright, so I will play Lion's Eye Diamond. I'm not going to risk discarding this Echo again. So we'll make 3 blue. I will flashback Echo of Aeons, floating 2 blue. Storm is 2. We'll play Defense Grid for 1 mana. They Force of Vigor on Artist Talent and my Mox Opal. I'll make a red. So we're going to lose the Artist Talent, but I think ultimately that's okay. We'll discard Urza Saga. I will play Artist Talent. I have 1 Echo left in the deck. You know what? I think I'm supposed to just empty my hand naturally with Artist Talent, and then we'll flashback Echo off Gamble. So we'll discard Into the Floodmaw. Another Gamble. Play Mishra's Bauble. Discard Into the Floodmaw. Another Artist Talent. Interesting. I think my choke point here is mana. So I will gamble for Echo here. Because I think it's a win-win. No matter what happens. We'll grab the final Echo of Aeons. And now I will gamble. Discard the Echo. And we'll go grab Lion's Eye Diamond. I've been losing a lot of my gamble flips so far. We'll play the Chrome Mox. And now we're going to Echo with no mana floating. So I'm going to need a pretty good Echo here. Spin that wheel. Storm 11. Interesting. I think we start with Lion's Eye Diamond. Discard Urza Saga. Play Lotus Petal. Discard Urza Saga. So I have no more Echoes. So if I find Gamble, I have to win the flip to go get the Grape Shot. We'll play Rite of Flame. Discard Mishra's Bauble. I found Grape Shot, but now we need 5 more Storm before I play the Grape Shot. Interesting. I don't know if I can actually get it all the way there. I think I'm going to be like 1 short. Or 2 short. What if I use the Pirate Spellbomb somehow? So if I play Chrome Mox, and then I'd have to like imprint Artist Talent. I think that makes me 1 mana short. Because the Artist Talent is not leveled up. So I'll play Chrome Mox. I think we're going to try to discard Artist Talent. Maybe I was supposed to lead on the Pirate Spellbomb instead, because now if I don't draw an imprintable, I can't play both. We'll get rid of the Artist Talent. No imprint. Play Pirate Spellbomb. No. Play Mox Opal. Did this actually work out perfectly? Grape Shot's 18, Pirate Spellbomb is 20. We'll keep the new one. So we'll Grape Shot for 18, and then we sack the Lion's Eye Diamond for 3 red, and Pirate Spellbomb them? Holy moly! This is the greatest league of all time. I don't care what anyone says. That was so awesome! We are now 3-0 with Stock Up Storm. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Time for the 4th match. We are on the play. Let's go. Unfortunately, this hand doesn't do anything. We have to mulligan. This is a turn 1 Echo. I think we keep this. Bottom Mishra's Bauble. Actually, no. We'll bottom Urza Saga, play Spire of Industry, and then Lotus Petal. So we have a 75% chance for success here. Hopefully we win the flip. We've had a lot of misfortune so far with our gambles. Select Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll play the Lion's Eye Diamond. Our opponent's pausing a lot. I think that they might have a Force of Will. We'll add a blue, or a red, I guess it doesn't matter. We'll add 3 blue, and let's flashback Echo of Aeons, Storm 5. It resolves! Okay. We can... I don't know if they're playing a blue deck or not, but I can play Defense Grid and then gamble for another Echo. We'll play Defense Grid. The Force of Negation, exiling Brainstorm. We'll play Lion's Eye Diamond. I think I want to spin. We'll play Gamble. Grab Echo. Let's do it again. Storm 11. I have to pass the turn, but I mean, this is a very good 7, and we get to start the game with 3 permanents in play. Polluted Delta, or Tundra, Prismatic Ending. Yep. Ancient Tomb was a great draw here. We'll play the Ancient Tomb, play Defense Grid. Another Force of Negation. Ay. Pass the turn. Our opponent plays a Ponder and Island. We'll play Urza Saga. I'll take 1. Ouch. Let's play Artist Talent. I will pass the turn. Flooded Strand. They fetch with the Flooded Strand. For an Underground Sea. I was not expecting Underground Sea. 3 mana. For a Teferi Time Raveler. This could bounce my Artist Talent. They bounce Urza Saga. Good deal. We'll replay the Saga. We drew Echo, which was incredible. I'm going to play Gamble here, and I think I want to grab another Defense Grid. We'll discard Volcanic Island. Select Defense Grid. We discard the Echo, which was fine. We'll play Defense Grid. We'll get rid of Stock Up. Our Defense Grid resolves! We'll play Mishra's Bauble. Discard Rite of Flame. We'll play Mishra's Bauble. We'll discard Mishra's Bauble because that will give us Metalcraft. We'll make a blue with the Opal. We'll play a Mox Opal. Discard the Pirate Spellbomb. We drew Chrome Mox. I don't think... I think the Chrome Mox is actually better in my deck than in play here. So we will flashback the Echo of Aeons. I'm not going to discard a card. It's fine. We play Lotus Petal. Discard Echo of Aeons. Play another Lotus Petal. Discard Urza Saga. We ripped Lion's Eye Diamond. That's very good. We'll play Diamond. Discard Urza Saga. We'll play Mishra's Bauble. Discard Artist Talent. We will Rite of Flame, discard the Gamble, play Urza's Bauble, discard Volcanic Island. We had another Rite of Flame. Perfect. So this will now make 4 mana. We'll level up the Artist Talent, make 3 blue, and now we'll flashback the Echo of Aeons for 2 mana. So now we have enough mana where I should probably be able to win. We'll play Artist Talent, discard Defense Grid. We'll play Lotus Petal, discard Pyrite Spellbomb, discard Urza's Bauble. Let's play a stock up. We're going to get to look at a lot of cards here. Actually, hold on. Is it better to level up my other Artist Talent? So this one's already on level 2, so the one on the left is the one that isn't leveled yet. So if I level that, I could play Chrome Mox and then stock up for a bunch. But is that... then there might be too much risk if the first stock up misses. So I think that's an unnecessary risk. We'll just play stock up here. Discard 1 stock up. Discard a Gamble. Now stock up resolves. We'll take double Mox Opal. We'll play Opal. Experiencing some lag here. I'm just spinning. There we go. Discard Urza's Saga. We finally find the Grape Shot, so I'll get rid of Gamble. We'll keep the new Mox Opal. I'll make a red. We'll play the Mox Opal. Discard Chrome Mox. Discard Urza's Saga. Grape Shot for 20. Pew pew! Sweet. That was easy. We're facing a blue deck. I think we probably want the Haywire Might over, like, Urza's Bauble, and then we'll call it a day. Submit. Game number 2, we're on the draw. I've opened up a hand that plays turn 1 Defense Grid into potentially turn 1 Echo of Aeons if her Gamble wins the flip. And they have Grafdigger's Cage. So that's also going to shut off my ability to grab Haywire Might off of Urza's Saga. That's a problem. We'll play Ancient Tomb, play Defense Grid. That resolved. Okay. I'll play Bauble, play Opal, and I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to gamble for Haywire Might. Select the Haywire Might, and we put it straight into the graveyard. So that was wonderful. Pass the turn. So we might be on Urza's Saga Beatdown. They play Thoughtseize. So now they could take my stock up. I think we're on the Saga Beatdown. So I would like to draw more copies of Urza's Saga. That is the best thing that could happen. They search out a Tundra and Ponder. Even if I didn't discard the Haywire Might, they had Thoughtseize for the Haywire Might. They did not shuffle on the Ponder. I'm going to keep my Bauble in play. We'll play Urza's Saga. Basically, I think these Baubles are just more important in play as artifacts that make my constructs larger. I'll feel bad if they play like a Narset Parter of Veils or something, but I think right now I just need to focus on being the aggressive construct deck. They fetch pretty quickly with that Flooded Strand. 3 mana for a Teferi Time Raveler, so this can bounce my Urza Saga. And that happens. Replay the Urza Saga. I'll play Lion's Eye Diamond. They plus the Teferi Time Raveler. What's funny about this is they can play spells on my turn, but I have a Defense Grid, so they'll all cost 3 more. Well, not anymore. They had Prismatic Ending. But yeah, sure. So with them playing Prismatic Ending on my Defense Grid, they could consign to memory my Saga trigger gaining the next chapter, and that I couldn't make constructs. We'll go to my turn. I thought about using the Baubles there, but maybe that's just bad. We draw Artist Talent. Urza Saga triggers. And they have the consign to memory. Okay. I think I'm going to pass the turn. I will Urza's Bauble them. They have a Brainstorm. And then I will Mishra's Bauble them. Basic Swamp. Okay. They plus the Teferi Time Raveler. And they play the Brainstorm. After the Brainstorm, they play Flooded Strand. And then pass, we have 2 Bauble triggers in our upkeep. Rite of Flame. Artist Talent. I will draw for turn, and then Saga is going to go up to the 3rd chapter. Grape Shot isn't amazing here. And then they Thoughtseize me in my draw step. Sure. There's a good chance they put back the Swamp with the Brainstorm, so I'm going to cross that off. They take an Artist Talent. And then Surgical Extraction on Artist Talent. Okay. So they have 1 card left in their hand. I think that was a little aggressive. If I were them, I would have sat on the Surgical Extraction. And I think I would have gone after Urza Saga. but they don't know my deck list, so there's a chance that me having all of the information and them not, that I'm overvaluing the Surgical. We'll tap the Urza Saga for mana. It does not make constructs. I cannot make a construct here. I just need an artifact that will help give me Metalcraft. So let's grab Mishra's Bauble, I suppose. And they've already created Storm for me, so we can kill the Teferi Time Raveler here. Pass the turn. They fetch with Flooded Strand. They search out Undercity Sewers. Gets rid of Consigned Memory. Okay. We'll bobble them. Hydroblast. Sure. I would like an Urza Saga. Nope. Okay, so if I play Lotus Petal, imprint Chrome Mox, that leaves me 1 mana short of Hardcast Echo. In case they draw another Thoughtseize, I'm going to play all these out. Pass the turn. They play the Swamp, so they actually kept it off the Brainstorm, so their hand is Hydroblast and 1 unknown. I could Hardcast Echo here. I think I'm supposed to. It's just like, it's not a feel good. I will Hardcast Echo, and let's make 3 red. It resolves. I cannot flashback Echo of Aeons. I would just like to remind everyone there is still a Grafdigger's Cage on the battlefield. I'll play Ancient Tomb. We'll play Pyrite Spellbomb. And I would like to draw a card. Chrome Mox. I'm going to pass the turn. I could try to play Defense Grid here, but we've already seen Prismatic Ending. I don't want it to be destroyed by Prismatic Ending, and I can't win this turn anyway. So I will pass. If they have Thoughtseize, they have Thoughtseize. Brainstorm. Okay, sorry, I'm coming back now. Our opponent played a Thoughtseize followed by Prismatic Ending and an Orcish Bowmasters. They left me with Defense Grid. Interesting. Okay. We draw Gamble, which is interesting, because I could try to gamble again for the Haywire Might. Let's try Defense Grid. I'm guessing they have Consigned to Memory here. If they left me with the Defense Grid, they make a black. Surgical Extraction on Stock Up. Okay. Storm is 2. Defense Grid resolves. We'll play Lion's Eye Diamond, which will give me Metalcraft. So we have a 50-50 opportunity here. I can play Chrome Mox, imprint Rite of Flame, gamble for the Haywire Might, and then exile the Grafdigger's Cage, flashback Echo of Aeons. If we lose the flip on gamble again, which we've lost a lot of flips this league, we lose. I cannot gamble for the Grape Shot because my Storm count is not high enough. Play Chrome Mox, imprint Rite of Flame. Alright, the 50-50 on gamble. I guess while I'm in here, I should make sure we don't have a better line. Yeah, I think it's just the Haywire Might. Okay, here we go. We lost another gamble. Holy moly, that's so many lost gambles. Okay, I'm going to concede. Off to game 3. Let's bring it into the Floodmaw. I will take out Urza's Bauble. Actually, we'll shave 1 Chrome Mox. It's just, the Chrome Moxes aren't as important. We'll try this. On the play for game 3. Huh. It's a hand. Just, I don't know if it's a good one. I'm going to mulligan. I just don't think this hand does enough. So we go all in and lose with this hand. Our opponent kept 7. We only have 4 protection spells in our deck, so am I supposed to just risk it? I would love to 5-0 this league, so I'm trying really hard here. I just don't know if we know that they have Force of Negation, right? So they're at least 50% assuming they have 1 Force, and if they have 2 Force of Negation, it goes up to 60. So I'm at best a coin flip, and at worst I'm playing a losing odds game at a casino. I don't know. Is this better than a random 5? What are the odds that a 5-card hand is good against a Force deck anyway? I would need Ancient Tomb plus Lion's Eye Diamond Echo and a Defense Grid. I'm going to keep. I might regret this. We'll get rid of Stock Up. Lion's Eye Diamond. Play Urza's Bauble. Play Mishra's Bauble. Make 3 blue. Flashback Echo, Storm 4. So you might be saying, why not use these first? I want them for potential Metalcraft. And we were lucky enough that our spells resolved. I will play Rite of Flame. Play Defense Grid. Well, they have a Force this time because they're thinking about this. And they exile Hydroblast. Okay. So I did see a Thoughtseize previously. I think they probably have more Thoughtseize than they do Prismatic Ending, so I'm going to play everything out, and then we'll use the baubles on their turn. In their upkeep, we'll Urza's Bauble, Snow-Covered Island, Stony Silence, what? Bauble, and Force of Will. Come on! Why are you like this? Wow. So they just have Stony Silence backed by a Force of Will here. I would need an incredible 4 cards for my turn. Ugh. I don't think that was good enough. We'll play Chromox, imprint the stock up. We'll try Artist Talent. Play Lotus Petal. We'll say no. Play Lotus Petal. No. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here other than try to play the defense grid, so that's what we're going to do. I think how we win this game is I have to draw into the Floodmaw at some point and filter an Echo of Aeons to my graveyard. They grab a Meticulous Archive. Our opponent has a lot of hate, by the way. Stony Silence and Grafdigger's Cage, main deck Force of Negation, Surgicals, like, they have a lot of interaction. They play Underground Sea and then the Stony Silence. Okay. Surgical Extraction on Rite of Flame. You got it. Things I do not care about. We could also still win this game with, like, drawing Ancient Tomb into Urza Saga. That's another possibility. Gamble. Doesn't help me here. We'll pass. They play the 3rd land. Orcish Bowmasters. Yep. We drew the Echo. Okay, so we have a 50-50 again. I can gamble for Into the Floodmaw, and then we need to discard the Echo. Actually, I guess I can just discard Echo this way, and then we'll draw a random card. Oh, I didn't want to do that because of Bowmasters. Whoops. That was silly. We'll grab Into the Floodmaw. We actually won one. Okay, so there's a chance. We need our opponent to tap low on their turn, so that way Defense Grid still protects me. They play a land, and they attack for 3. So I need them to tap out of Defense Grid. We'll play Haywire Might. Hopefully they forget that Stony Silence. They're actually going to force it. No way. They're forcing a card that doesn't even work here. Let's go. Let's go. Borrowglyph, they just tapped out. We have our opportunity to win right here. We're keeping the dream alive. Into the Floodmaw with Gift. Bounce your Stony Silence. You can have a fish. We'll discard Defense Grid. It's going to pump up their Bowmasters. We'll play Lotus Petal. Auto Yield. Alright, it's now or never. Flashback Echo of Aeons. So I need to draw like another Floodmaw or the Pyrite Spellbomb or something, so I can get rid of this Orcish Bowmasters. We have Gamble. So I'm at 4. I can go to 2 and play Stock Up, Digging. Or I can... You know what? I think Stock Up is good here, because I have 3 good hits, really 4, and they can't replay the Bowmasters. Is that better? Maybe I'm supposed to just... This is a tough decision. We'll gamble. I'm keeping the Lion's Eye Diamond in my hand on purpose. Okay, we're going to discard Haywire Might. My opponent took a long time there, thinking about this gamble. I think they forgot that I have Defense Grid. We draw a useless Stock Up. I'm down to 6 minutes, so I do need to close this out at a reasonable pace. Alright, so our opponent took 5 minutes letting Gamble resolve, and now we're here. So I will select Into the Floodmaw. No way! Come on! We lost another Gamble flip with 7 cards in hand. So now I have to stock up into exactly one of my 2 remaining Into the Floodmaws, or else we lose. I'll go to 1. Play Stock Up. Say no. We have to hit Into the Floodmaw here. We did. We hit the Floodmaw. Holy moly. I'll take the Chrome Mox. The bottom in any order. We'll play Lotus Petal. We're not going to trigger the Artist Talent because I don't want to lose the match. Make a blue. Into the Floodmaw on Orcish Bowmasters. Say no. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. Discard Echo. Mox Opal was good. We have 4 minutes to close this out. Discard Stock Up. Okay. We'll make blue. We'll Opal for a red. Discard the Chrome Mox. Another Artist Talent. I don't think we can afford to keep that. So I am going to make 3 red and we'll Echo. Storm 11. 4 minutes. Here we go. They're at 14. I'll play Petal. That's from 12. Discard the Saga. Gamble would be 13, Grape Shot would be 14 if I can manage to not lose another gamble. Select Grape Shot. Alright. I don't need to rage and flip the table in front of everyone. Okay, we got there. Play the pedal. Honestly, I didn't deserve to win this. My opponent really threw by force of willing at Haywire Might. We'll play Bobble. Discard Chrome Mox. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. We will not discard. Tap the Mox Opal. Grape Shot you for 18. What a match. Honestly, every match so far has just been straight bangers. Our opponent said good games to my opponent. Wow. We're one match away from greatness. I truly hope we get it. I will see you in the 5th and final round. The best Legacy podcast? That would be Eternal Glory featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Cobalt and Phil Gallagher. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. The 5th and final round, we are facing James Casau, the Grixis Control legend. We're on the draw. I will keep. We have turn 1 Defense Grid into Urza's Saga. This is exactly the kind of hand we would want, assuming that James is playing Grixis Control today. Turn 1 Polluted Delta. Mishra's Bobble. We'll play Defense Grid. That resolved. Perfect. We'll play the Mishra's Bobble. Play Mox Opal. And I think I would like to use the Bobble now. So I thought about using the gamble, but I don't want to risk discarding this Urza Saga. I think it's too important. But because of the fact that Defense Grid resolved, I want to leave myself the opportunity here to draw into Lion's Eye Diamond or Echo of Aeons that could allow me to win. They get rid of Orcish Bowmasters. I'm also a little surprised that James is playing Meticulous Archive today. So not Grixis Control. It could be Esper Control or something else. And it is in fact Esper. 2 mana here for Prismatic Ending. Yep. Okay. That's a bummer. Lotus Petal. We'll play Urza Saga. Pass the turn. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. So the Saga beatdown plan might not be good enough here. They grab Cauldron Complete. We find the Echo. Okay. So I could jam right now. The fear is that if they have a Force of Will. I think I'm going to wait. Because if I wait, I can grab Lion's Eye Diamond with Urza Saga. And then next turn I can gamble for Defense Grid. Land number 4. Stoneforge Mystic. In comes Cauldron Complete. The attack for 5. I will take it. Ouch. End step. We'll go to 11. I'll create a construct. We'll go to my turn. And we could make another construct here. I think instead I'm just going to tap for a colorless. They fetch in response. I'm guessing this is a Swords to Plowshares on the construct token. Unless for some reason they had main deck consigned to memory. But that'd be a little surprising. Tundra does signal Swords to Plowshares here. Yep. And now the trigger from the Urza Saga, we will select Lion's Eye Diamond. Tap the Opal for a red. I will play Gamble. We have an 80% chance of success here. Please don't fail me again, deck. Defense Grid. Okay. I will tap the Ancient Tomb. We will play Defense Grid. Force of Will, exiling Tamiyo. We'll play Mishra's Bobble. I'll take 1 off the Spire of Industry. We'll play Rite of Flame. Rite of Flame. And then we're going to flash back the Echo. I won't lie, I got a little nervous when we discarded the Echo of Aeons. James is someone who loves main deck Cling to Dust, and I was worried about Cling to Dust there. We find a really good hand off the Echo. We'll play another Ancient Tomb. I think I want to keep my colors available, and then we'll play Defense Grid again. I would like this to resolve. A fetch in response for Scrubland. That's interesting. There's the Cling to Dust! Oh, that's funny. Yeah. The Defense Grid resolves. We'll play Lion's Eye Diamond. Play the Mishra's Bobble. And I will gamble. Sometimes Magic is just too perfect. We'll grab Echo of Aeons. I will add 3 more blue. We'll spin the wheel on Echo of Aeons. Storm 14. This should be enough to get the job done. I'm just trying to think how we want to do it. I think the safest line is just play Gamble. Like, your odds of being successful here are so high. We'll select Grape Shot. And that'll do. So I can now play the Bobble, play Petal. I don't think I want to show James the artist talent because currently James doesn't know about it, so it might matter for how James sideboards for the post-board games. Let's go! Let's go! I love it. One game away from greatness. We'll bring in the Haywire Might, take out a Bobble. So the question is, do I want into the Floodmaw? We know that there's Orcish Bowmasters. I think I'm going to just bring in the Floodmaws. Submit this. Game number 2, we have a turn 1 defense grid into turn 2 stock up. I'm going to keep. James has also kept 7. Basic Island into Ponder, classic opener. Mox Opal, a very good draw. We'll play the Saga, play Chrome Mox, imprint into the Floodmaw. Let's try defense grid. It resolves. We'll play Lotus Petal, play Mox Opal, play Mishra's Bauble. We know that there are Bowmasters decks, so I'm going to just use the Bauble now. And there's the Bowmasters. So we will pass the turn. So on my turn, we can decide on if we want to try to stock up into a potential win, or we can just say, hey, we're going to play the Urza Saga game for a little bit. And I think that's fine too. Scrub land, Prismatic Ending. Okay. So with the ending, I am more likely to play the Urza Saga game than I am to play stock up. Honestly, here, why not both? Let's play stock up. I mean, Ancient Tomb was a perfect draw. Wow, that was good. Holy moly. Is it Defense Grid Echo, and then our Saga gets Lion's Eye Diamond next turn? I think that's the play. Yeah, we'll take Defense Grid Echo. Okay. Pass the turn. They play a Ponder. So when I make a Construct token on their end step, I'm going to be getting rid of my Lotus Petal, but the Construct token will give me Metalcraft after, so I think that's okay. Wrath of the Skies. That's devastating here. Wow. Yeah. I was not expecting Wrath of the Skies. You might be saying, why not make a Construct token in response? It would also be destroyed. We'll play Defense Grid. Pass the turn. So now I have to find Lion's Eye Diamond after I just put one on the bottom. They Ponder, Basic Island, and Bowmasters. Okay, so I have a window here if I can find a Lion's Eye Diamond. And instead I draw nothing. We'll pass. So knowing about Wrath of the Skies, assuming that I lose this game because I'm in a spot where I'm probably not going to win, I'm going to play game 3 differently. I'm not going to play into Wrath of the Skies like I did this game. 3 mana here. Okay, puts in a Kaito. Plus is on the Kaito. Interesting that they brought back the Orcish Bowmasters, because if they don't replay it, my Echo might be good enough to win. They find a Tundra. Or I think that was revealed. I don't know if that's actually revealed. It was revealed. Okay. And now they cycle a Lorien revealed for Meticulous Archive. Deck, I am begging you, please, pretty please, Lion's Eye Diamond right now. Nope. I think that's all she wrote. The attack. Yep, we'll take 4. We're at 7. So now Echo is shut off if they play the Orcish Bowmasters. And if they don't play Bowmasters, they probably have a counter spell. Consign to Memory. Yeah, they left open counter magic. Okay, we can go to game 3. Brutal. I'm going to trust that we did everything we could correctly that game and resubmit the same configuration, hoping for, you know, a little bit better. That Wrath of the Skies was the difference maker that game for sure. Okay, on the play. Final game. If I'm willing to lose to Wrath of the Skies, this hand is bananas. Let's do it. Keep. I didn't learn my lesson last game. That's all I'm really realizing right now. We'll play Chrome Mox, imprint the Artist Talent, play Lotus Petal, play Mox Opal. Urza Saga. This is turn 1 stock up. Storm is 4. Force of Will, exiling Lorien revealed. Pass the turn. Basic Island, so that doesn't cast Wrath of the Skies. So this turn, I'm interested in making a Construct token. We draw Ancient Tomb, which is good with the Saga. They have Consigned to Memory, so I won't be able to make constructs. But what I can do is Echo of Aeons. So we will gamble. You have another Force. We'll grab Echo. Tap for a blue. Flashback Echo of Aeons. Surgical Extraction on Gamble. Okay. Echo of Aeons on the stack. Interesting. Play Chrome Mox, and I think I'm going to try Defense Grid. Once again, I cannot make a construct with this Urza Saga. They consign to memory the ability to make constructs. Force of Will, Exiling Ponder. I will pass the turn. Land number 2, which is a Polluted Delta. We'll draw for turn a Mishra's Bauble. Tap the Saga for mana. Put the search trigger on the stack. The fetch with Polluted Delta for a scrub land. I'm guessing this is an Orcish Bowmasters. I think I'm actually going to grab the Pirate Spellbomb here, because I already have a Lion's Eye Diamond for an Echo of Aeons that I could find off of... Actually, hold on. I don't know if I need to tap the Tomb yet. Let's go like this, save some life. We'll play Defense Grid. So now will come the Orcish Bowmasters. Yep. And now, I would like to stock up into an Echo of Aeons. Let's see if we can make that happen. No, but I find an Artist Talent. We'll take the Artist Talent and Lion's Eye Diamond. So if I could play out my entire hand right now, and then lose to Wrath of the Skies, but I don't know if I win if I don't. We're going to kill the Orcish Bowmasters. I have 3 Echoes in the deck. Play Urza Saga. Play Artist Talent. So I could play Diamond, discarding... I guess I don't need double Lion's Eye Diamond. I should quit being greedy. We'll play Bauble. Trigger the Artist Talent. Discard Lion's Eye Diamond. Haywire Might. I'll Bauble them. Brainstorm. That's terrifying. I'm going to pass the turn. So I could play the Diamond discarding the Haywire Might, but I'd have to hit exactly 1 of 3 remaining Echoes. And then it makes playing into Wrath of the Skies even worse. So I think I'm going to wait. Because if they Wrath of the Skies for 0, I would lose my Saga and a few Moxes, but I could still recover with Defense Grid Artist Talent. Where, okay, stock up was a good hit. Where if I play the Diamond there, the Wrath of the Skies would actually just completely end my life. Plains, Wrath of the Skies for 0. So they'll destroy 4 Moxen and the Ancient Tomb. I am still in a spot where I could win this. Like an Echo off the top could win. The Lotus Petal would also be a good find, because then I could play the stock up. Mox Opal's good. We'll play Lion's Eye Diamond. Discard the Haywire Might. We'll play Mox Opal. I think I'm supposed to discard this Mox Opal, giving me 1 extra look. And then we'll play stock up. And I think I'm going to keep the other stock up in case I miss. We hit the Echo. And I think I'll take the Ancient Tomb because I haven't played a land yet. We'll play Ancient Tomb. Make 3 blue. Flashback Echo of Aeons. Here we go. Storm 4. This is my opportunity to win this game and 5-0. That's what I want to see right here. Beautiful. So step 1. Okay, I got to think through this. I need to, if I play Lotus Petal and then level up Artist Talent, the stock ups will cost 2. So I think that's what I want to do here. We'll discard Chrome Mox. Like, LED is a great find. Am I being silly by wanting to level up the Artist Talent? I might be. Because if I level it up and then play these... Actually, I'm pretty close to casting the next one, so we will level up. Play Lotus Petal. And I don't think I'm going to filter. Play Mox Opal. Because I want all the cards in my hand. We'll play stock up. I will not filter. Stock up. We find Echo. That's perfect. We'll take Mox Opal. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. I can now get rid of this stock up. Play Mox Opal. Discard the Chrome Mox. We'll add a red. Play Mox Opal. Discard Echo. Keep this. And let's float a blue. And we'll flashback Echo of Aeons. Storm is 12. We have 1 Echo left in our deck. And I find the Grape Shot. This is 7. We just 5-0'd. We just got the trophy with stock up. We'll play Defense Grid for 1. Discard Into the Floodmaw. Play Lotus Petal. Discard Volcanic Island. Lion's Eye Diamond. Discard Chrome Mox. Lion's Eye Diamond. Discard Urza Saga. Grape Shot for lethal. Discard Defense Grid. We got there. We got the trophy. We did it. Oh, wow. That's exciting. Stock Up Storm is the real deal. Artist Talent way overperformed. Stock Up was incredible. Urza Saga was very good. I loved this deck list. I would not change a single card. Hopefully you enjoyed the league. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. all that good stuff. Yeah, I am thrilled. This was amazing. And once again, if you're interested in Japanese foil Rite of Flames, I know a website that has them, theepicstorm.com/shop. Yeah, wow. Incredible. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Keep storming. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. After you do that, open up our description where you can find all of our social media networks, including our Discord, where you can discuss today's deck in that Discord with me and tons of other combo masterminds. It's absolutely free to join, and it's certainly worth your while.